I now call upon the Minister for Health and Medical Services, the Honourable Dr. Atonio Lalabalavu. You have the floor, sir.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable fellow Cabinet Ministers, Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. I rise to affirm the Ministry of Health and Medical Services' full support for the 2023 and 2024 budget that was presented on Friday, 30th of June, 2023. And I wish to commend the Minister for Finance, Honourable Professor Diman Prasad, and his ministry staff who worked tirelessly to deliver a visionary budget that sets the platform for a smart and resilient recovery. This budget is indeed a people's budget. Coming out of the woes of the 1 in 100 years global pandemic, the people want better social services to help them overcome their daily struggles, and this budget has answered the call. The coalition government has prioritized the health of the people of Fiji by allocating 453.6 million for the next financial year compared to 395.1 million in the current financial period. The Ministry of Health and Medical Services is indeed grateful to government for the 58.5 million budget increase, as we have many strategies to implement in the next 12 months to improve the provision of quality healthcare services around Fiji. Honourable Speaker, sir, for the 2023-2024 budget, the Ministry aims to achieve outcomes across key health system components that will support effectiveness and efficiency in health service delivery, including the upgrading and improvement of healthcare facilities and health services support systems, strengthening the management of our human resources for health, taking innovative approaches, including private sector engagement to mitigate the impact of staff exodus, refocusing on public health and primary health care to build a more resilient health system, tackling the ever-increasing burden of non-communicable disease in the country, and instilling the culture of wellness that empowers our communities to live a healthy and productive life. On the point of capital projects, Honourable Speaker, sir, the allocation of 39.6 million for capital projects under the Ministry will facilitate the planned health infrastructure improvement. Out of this, the Ministry has allocated 1.8 million for the upgrade and maintenance of urban hospitals and institutional quarters, and this will address much needed work in the painting and repairs of the CWMH maternity unit exterior, construction of the walkway that connects the east and west wing of CWM, incinerator infrastructure, rehabilitation works for CWM, roadworks for the Lambasa Hospital Road, and undertaking the environmental impact assessment for Lambasa Hospital refurbishment worksite. The Ministry has also allocated 2 million for the upgrade and maintenance of subdivisional hospitals, health centres, nursing stations, and this will be directed towards the planned renovations at Valeleu Health Centre, Makoi Health Centre, Lami Health Centre, Wainimbokasi Subdivisional Hospital, and Korvo Subdivisional Hospital. A further 6.75 million has been allocated in the budget towards the refurbishment of Savusavu Hospital, the upgrade of Lambasa Hospital interior, and the construction works for the new National Rehabilitation Centre at the Tamawua Tumi Hospital. Honourable Speaker, sir, other important construction preparatory works that include the construction of the Ngamea Health Centre, construction of doctors and nurses' quarters, and refurbishment of nursing stations at Nangando in Ba, Tokaimalo in Ra, Radula and Angeta in Yasawa, Pubulau in Bua, Tugu, Nangalimare, and Rewanga in the Nandrongana Hosa subdivision has been allocated 1.6 million. Having well-maintained clinics and dwellings are essential for maintaining the health and morale of our healthcare workers as they provide health services to our people. On the point of minor works, Mr. Speaker, sir, the allocation of 3 million for minor works, which is a significant increase from the 1 million allocated in the current financial year is welcome and is very important in ensuring that Ministry can continue to maintain and repair its hospitals and institutions in a timely manner. In this regard and preparation for the new financial year, the Ministry has taken plans to establish its minor works plans to be able to segregate this allocation further to all the cost centers for ease of implementation and monitoring of activities. The Ministry is also taking steps to engage suitably qualified technical staff to assist in the implementing the much-needed works towards changing the outlook for the more than 200 healthcare infrastructure under the Ministry, sir. On access to medicines and medical products, Mr. Speaker, sir, equitable and uninterrupted access to essential medicines is an important component of our focus on strengthening primary health care in Fiji. As we have stated before, we firmly believe that the primary health care approach provides the best platform and conduit for the Fiji Health Services efforts towards achieving universal health coverage for our population. These mammoth tasks rest with the Fiji Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Services, or the FPBS, who are responsible for procuring essential medicines, consumables, medical supplies, medical appliances, biomedical equipment, X-ray materials, laboratory reagents, infection prevention and control supplies, and staff clothing for the Ministry. Honourable Speaker, sir, the FPBS has invested with strategic partnership support on an online stock and inventory management tool called M-Supply, which is geared towards improving our stock management system. The M-Supply system provides for the ordering, procurement, and inventory management of pharmaceutical and medical supplies held at the FPBS and all participating health facilities. As of today, 45% of our targeted healthcare facilities, departments, and service areas have been connected and are now utilizing M-Supply system when managing their clinical stock. This means that 94 health facilities out of 236 target sites now use either a tablet or PC to place their orders and monitor their inventory. These facilities and sites include dental departments, radiology departments, laboratory departments, operating theatres and the CWM Hospital, Lambas Hospital, subdivisional hospitals in Nandi, Singatoko, and Nambowalu in Bua, and the rural health care facilities in Divia and Lakamba in the La Group, Kioa and Sangani, Lekutu, Kumbulau, and Gamea in the Northern Division, and Bauma in Tavuni. The Ministry is grateful that the government has, in the next financial year, increased the allocation for medicines and consumables from 30 million to 33 million. Laboratory reagents from 9.4 million to 13 million. Biomedical spare parts and maintenance spare parts from 1.5 million to 2.5 million. And the budget for dental equipment from $389,200 to 1.21 million. The allocation to purchase biomedical equipment for our hospitals has been significantly increased from 3 million to 12.3 million. And this will allow the Ministry to replace obsolete and non-functioning biomedical equipment and establish functional service contract agreements that will ensure the longevity of major biomedical equipment. The budgetary allocation under FPBS will ensure that we will accomplish the full rollout of the M-Supply within the next financial year so that we can achieve our targets of reducing and eliminating stockouts of essential medicines and supplies of our health facilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, another major focus of the Ministry is on tackling the disease burden of non-communicable disease and endemic communicable diseases in Fiji. As the world comes to terms with the new normal way of living and working with COVID-19 virus, the Ministry is focused on strengthening primary health care, particularly in the area of preventative health care. The increase in excise tax of alcohol and tobacco by 5%, and the increase in excise for carbonated and sugar sweetened to 40 cents per litre is much welcome, and it indicates government's intent to tackle the current NCD crisis in Fiji. NCD remains the #1 cause of sickness and premature mortality in our population, and addressing the risk factors for our population is a necessary step towards halting this silent epidemic. The allocation for NCD in the ministry's budget has also been increased substantially to 350,000 from 150,000 allocated in this financial year for the implementation of crucial NCD programs. This increase is important to ensure that we are able to implement our action plans for non-communicable diseases, as well as engage effectively with our health partners who are supporting us in this battle. Honourable Speaker said the COVID-19 pandemic has taught the world the dangers of neglecting the threat of communicable diseases. Whether endemic or novel to a country, public health programs, actions, initiatives should be constantly assessed, strengthened, and enhanced to ensure that we are able to effectively prepare for, recognize, diagnose, manage, and protect our people when communicable disease outbreaks are on the horizon. In recognition of this critical role in Fiji's fight against COVID-19 pandemic, the Health Protection Division of the Ministry has been designated as a new cost center under the Ministry in the new financial year. This is an important and essential step towards strengthening and further enhancing our capabilities to conduct an effectively disease surveillance program for Fiji through an enhanced diagnostic capacity at Itamabua and Namaka in Nandi, through effective collaborative border health surveillance services provided at our international ports and facilitated by the Border Health Protection Unit in Nandi. The Health Protection Division, which is responsible for prevention and protection against acute threats to public health, including from communicable diseases, environmental hazards, and health emergencies. The division works closely with the medical divisions in program implementation and consists of the Environmental Health Unit, the Fiji Center for Disease Control, or Fiji CDC, and Health Emergencies and Climate Change. In this budget, the Health Protection Unit, which is the Ministry's newest cost center, has been allocated 2.8 million, and this will enable greater flexibility, oversight, and planning of programs and operations. The program budget for health protection increased from 815,000 to 1.29 million, which is a difference of 180,000. This included increases in the allocation for leptospirosis and dengue control, tobacco control enforcement, and water sanitation and hygiene promotion, as well as a new allocation for outreach. This increase is a restoration of health protection allocations to levels that will better enable outreach and field activities for the prevention, preparedness, and response to public health events of concern. Programmatically, the focus will be on the following areas: for leptospirosis, typhoid, and dengue fever prevention and control. The allocation will allow for, one, an increased outreach activities on water, sanitation, and hygiene, WASH in schools, healthcare facilities, and communities with the support of our health partners. It also supports WASH cluster preparedness and interventions. Secondly, training for divisional outbreak response teams and community awareness in preparation for the start of the rainy season. Thirdly, finalizing of the mosquito control strategic plan and operational research to support vector control activities. Fourthly, operationalizing the Fiji Share project with French Polynesia for a mosquito-borne virus surveillance. Sir, food safety, the allocation will support the food safety awareness and training, given that the Ministry is a competent authority for food safety and food export market certification. For tobacco control, the allocation will support the review of relevant legislation related to health protection and public health, strengthening of tobacco control enforcement activities, including the promotion of tobacco-free setting initiatives, and enhancing quarantine and port health facilities. Honourable Speaker, sir, during and after COVID-19, we seem to have shifted our focus away from this deadly disease, HIV. However, it is alarming that Fiji has increased its estimated HIV infection by 129% over the last decade. And according to the UNAIDS Global Report, we are now one of the top 5 countries out of a pool of 38 countries with an alarming rise in infection rates. According to the UNAIDS reports, Fiji is rated second in the Asia-Pacific region with the fastest growing HIV infection and recording 46 HIV-related deaths last year, which is also the highest in the region and for Fiji. In 2022, Fiji recorded 245 HIV compared to 151 cases in 2021, which is almost an increase of 100%. Honourable Speaker, sir, it is alarming to note that 14 of these cases affect children who are under the tender age of 4 years old. The Ministry will not rest on its laurels in fight against HIV, and we are grateful that the HIV and AIDS Prevention Control Program has been allocated $200,000 in the 2023-2024 budget, which is an increase of $110,000, approximately 122%. On universal health coverage, Mr. Speaker, sir, the proposed national budget has also indicated government's commitment towards achieving universal health coverage for the people of Fiji and leaving no one behind. For the first time ever, government has allocated to each cost center in the ministry an allocation of $50,000 to $200,000 respectively to undertake outreach services into their respective communities. The new budget has allocated a resounding $655,000 compared to $493,500 in this current financial year. This is an increase of $161,500 or 33%. This will allow our clinical and public health teams and specialist doctors and nurses to go out into our remote and hard-to-reach villages and communities, provide primary and secondary health care services to our people who may not have the means to access health care for their health conditions in a timely manner. Government has also recognized the role of health partner organizations in the delivery of health services in Fiji and has allocated $900,000 for NGOs who support the priorities of the ministry by providing essential health services to the vulnerable population in our communities. In addition to allocations provided to Frank Hilton Organization for the Disabled People, Cyprema Specialist Children's Hospital for children born with congenital heart conditions, and the St. John's Ambulance for timely ambulances services. Mr. Speaker, sir, community health workers on Nasi and Koro, as we know, the ministry has been allocated $3 million for community health workers on Nasi and Koro. They are the hands, eyes, ears, and feet of the ministry in the communities and play an important role in ensuring that our health programs are supporting and meeting the health needs of Fijians in their homes and communities. Trained through our public health system, community health workers assist members of their respective communities on community health priorities such as maintaining good child health, safe motherhood, and promote wellness while working closely with their zone nurses for our home-based care and domiciliary care programs. During COVID-19 outbreak, community health workers were effectively involved in checking, assessing, and reporting on individuals who are on home isolation in the communities. There are a total of 1,582 community healthcare workers in the country, 411 healthcare workers in the west, 438 in the north, 455 in the central, and 278 in the eastern division. And the allocation will assist the ministry in meeting the payment of the monthly allowance of $200. So, and the more important point of nursing workforce. The government has heard the plight of our nurses in this budget and responded to the exodus of this valuable health workforce from the ministry. 5.08 million has been allocated for the movement of about 1,600 nurses to their correct salary band relative to the years of their work experience. The upward movement of intern nurses' salary to band F is allocated 1.15 million, which will benefit 330 new nursing graduates. At least 98 registered nurses will benefit from the $399,246.82 allocated for consolidated allowance, while the 4.83 million allocated as retention allowance will benefit the current 2,447 nursing workforce under the ministry. These incentives for the nursing workforce will go a long way in addressing the unprecedented attrition of nurses that is threatening the integrity of our health systems and will greatly assist in stabilizing and planning the delivery of health services in the country. Honorable Speaker, sir, government has again shown commendable leadership in this budget, and that while the ministers and the assistant ministers has taken reduction in salaries and privileges, the current salaries of healthcare workforce and indeed all civil servants in Fiji has been protected and maintained in the midst of economic challenges we are facing. In this way, the hard work and dedication of more than 7,500 staff of the Ministry of Health and Medical Services have been acknowledged and rewarded, and this is indeed commendable. In addition, the provision of overtime will assist in now carrying out essential tasks that cannot be completed within normal working hours. Honorable Speaker, sir, the Ministry is also aware that, like all agencies of government, it has a role in economic recovery for the nation. In this regard, the Ministry has put into action strategies that include the following: the recruitment of more staff in the food unit and tobacco unit that will ensure timely issuance of licenses that facilitate the work of industries that deal with these products; the digitalization of application process to minimize the laborious processes associated with application and reduce turnaround time for response. Honorable Speaker, sir, before I take my seat, I'd like to respond to the Leader of Opposition remarks on the funds from the Ministry being utilized in the Ministry's Education $200 Back to School initiative. The Ministry redeployed 10.4 million back to the Ministry of Finance in the latter half of this last budget year. In essence, the deployment of funds were from allocations that we knew would not be spent within the allocated financial year because of the following reasons. By the latter half of the last financial year, the scoping of a number of capital projects, including Savu Hospital refurbishment project, had not yet been completed. We knew by the time that scoping would be completed, you would have to rely on the budget that is currently under debate and discussions today to fund the refurbishment. This was because of a highly centralized tender process, which in the previous government, which was all done in the construction implementation unit. To compensate this inherited shortcoming, we embarked on a strong community engagement program, which has already borne fruit, as we see in the Savu Hospital and many of the small healthcare facilities around the country. Furthermore, moving forward, I have initiated control decentralized process to ensure the more completion of tender processes so that we can facilitate more timely capital expenditure. So in summary, the redeployment was a logical response where unavoidable expenditure difficulties within the Ministry of Health from factors we inherited and urgent needs within the Ministry of Education was mitigated. Honorable Speaker, sir, the Honorable Leader of Opposition further adds that they have done so much in regards to infrastructure in the Ministry of Health and Medical Services. He stated that whilst the government previous government built Nakasi Health Center, Wildlife Health Center, Navos Hospital, KRC, Rutuma, the renovation is CWM, etc. Congratulations for your efforts. But today, there is no connection of sewage to the main line in Nakasi Health Center. Now, Navos Hospital in KRC had officially opened its doors with borrowed items from various hospitals and health centers, thus affecting the provision of quality healthcare in these facilities. Rutuma Hospital cost the Ministry approximately $8 million to build, A groundbreaking ceremony was held in 2014, yet 9 years down the line. It is yet to be completed, and this time we will do it right when the time is ready for opening. So the State of Nations Infrastructure Media Tour in February revealed the appalling state of our 100-year-old colonial war memorial hospital. So the picture is worth 1,000 words. Honourable Speaker, sir, in concluding, the Ministry has taken steps to ensure that the budgetary allocations will be utilised as intended by the Government. The Ministry is thankful that it will be able to recruit essential corporate support services staff, such as clerical officers, labourers, boat captains, handymen, boilermen, and store officers, amongst others. And these support staff are critical for the efficient implementation of the new budget towards the delivery of quality healthcare services in our facility. The proposed national budget allocation for the financial year of 2023-2024 is one that will ensure Fijians are able to build back better and stronger, and this is pivotal in building a resilient healthcare system, economy, and society. In affirming my full support for this budget, I urge Fijians to continue to support government's visionary plans that are aimed at achieving our full economic and social recovery and laying the platform for a secure, healthier future for our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister for Health, for your contribution.